怒りを叫べ悲しみを叫べ魂を叫べ今ここで叫べ
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Yokai Delinquents podcast. This is Sean, bearded Kappa Litton.
And I am Jerry Robo Tengu Smith. How's it going, Sean? How you doing?
Oh, I am doing my damnedest just to hang in there, sir. How about you?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that to an extent, for sure. Just late nights, early mornings. It's a thing you have to do, right?
That rock and roll lifestyle you're living out there in the West Coast, sir.
Yeah, sure. It's not super rock star. We did do that. Like I feel like I'm almost still recovering from the weekend before last, where I stayed up till like 4 a.m. drinking and then hot tubbing and stuff. And yep, I'm too old for that shit.
Look, bro, if the hot tub isn't going to be a time machine, you don't need to be spending any time in there whatsoever.
Oh, fucking love those movies. Like you don't even know. I had the soundtrack for the first one.
Oh,
so
I know.
Good.
I know you're a fan.
Yeah.
Those listening may not realize it, but yes, Jerry's pinnacle of cinematic masterpiece is, in fact, Hot Tub Time Machine. Part 1 and 2. He considers it a saga.
Yeah. I know, right?
And it's his Lord of the Rings, really.
I own the extended cut of both films. It's the best.
But are they in black and white though to make it really classy?
Oh God, yeah, the Snyder cuts of them as well.
Yeah,
it's I'm just a real big fan of time travel via hot tub, recreational bathtub.
Okay. Oh, I was actually going to say, I wonder if you were actually like legitimately talking about how time travel is one of your favorite genres of like storytelling or something.
No, only whenever it's through a bathtub.
Only through hot tubs and bathtubs.
Yeah.
But
It's
not
very
DeLoreans.
niche. Right. Is there a hot tub in the DeLorean? I don't know. We can make assumptions here.
Doc Brown can do a lot of things. And by part 3, we don't know there wasn't a hot tub on the train, so.
That's true.
Wow. I did not start my day today thinking I was going to reference Back to the Future Part 3 today.
Oh man. I think actually last year was the first time I ever watched that movie from beginning to end.
I don't think I've watched it since I was probably a preteen or whenever it came out. It's been a very long time. And I'm okay with
I've had this uncanny knack lately of like going through and finding like movie series that have so many like movies just built up over the years, and just kind of like watching them. And the latest one that I'm on, that thank God I'm finally on the final film, has been the Resident Evil film series, which they actually just announced a show for.
Right.
But I mean, like, come on, I'm not like a Resident Evil like fan, really. I don't think I've played through an entire game or even more than like an hour of one of the games, honestly.
Right.
But holy shit, the Resident Evil movie series is fucking hot garbage. It's like every single movie, the director was like, all right, and in this one, we're going to outdo The Matrix in this way. And it's like, bro, The Matrix was made like 12 years ago. Please stop.
Look, W.S. Anderson, or whatever his name is, he had one goal for every one of those movies. Look at my hot wife.
Right.
And we'll make shit explode. Now, like, outside of the first one, which did retain some of the feel of like the early Resident Evil games, they are just mindless action flicks. And I don't know, like some point last year on my channel, I did a whole line of video game reviews. Actually, no, I think I only did that on my Facebook. I didn't make videos because my buddy asked me to review every live action video game adaptation.
Oh God!
That I could get a hold of. And of course, Resident Evil was readily available because our good friend Gregory
Mhm.
owns them all,
Oh my god.
and I have access to his Voodoo account. So
Yeah.
I marathon that series as well. And like I said, it gets to a point where I think in a series like that, you just kind of hit like, you know what? They forgot about the games a long time ago, but they kind of have their own thing, and it kind of
Yeah.
makes me, I don't know. To me, it worked enough as an action franchise because even Resident Evil,
Mhm.
up until the last couple of games, haven't even been horror games for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like part four
For
and
sure.
five, and at least six probably, really turned more into third person shooter games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. To me, I didn't mind. I mean, they're not good films by any
Right.
means, but
Right.
like they're better than like some of the other video game adaptations out there. That ones that Yule Bowl made, better than House of the Dead. you know.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up as soon as you said you were watching video game movies.
Oh yeah. Luckily that one wasn't available anywhere. I did have to pay for it, and I'll be damned if I'm paying for that movie again.
Streaming service people keep getting approached like, it will pay you to take this movie, and they're just like, we can't do that to our customers.
No, they have to pay us to make us use up our bandwidth to show them this film. So,
Right. Right.
uh, which weirdly enough, I actually have a coworker that really likes that film, and
Hmm.
if me and Craig on our Macabre Matinee show ever get to House of the Dead, I'm insisting my friend join us on the show because he's got to justify this. I want him to
Hmm.
plead his case to why it's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, it's interesting how it works, right? Because every single of these films is basically centered around Mia Jovovich's character Alice, which is like an original character for this movie series.
Yep.
And then every now and then they'll, like, I don't know, toss in, like, just to make sure you still know it's Resident Evil, a character from the game that, like, is out of, basically just picked out of time and space from the game and just dropped somewhere
Right.
in the fucking world filled with zombies. So I was a little bit, like, happy that they chose Wentworth Miller to play, was it Chris Redfield? I
Yeah,
think
I remember
he was
him being
Captain
good.
Cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, they, like, hardly do anything with those characters that they pick from the Resident Evil universe. And then, like, in the following movie, when they could just, like, because they always like connecting them from, like, showing you the end of the previous movie and then,
Yeah.
like, going into, like, the new movie. And it didn't make any sense because they just basically killed off or, like, misplaced anyone from the previous movie except for Alice.
Yep.
And then it's just like, okay, well, here we go with the show.
Um,
And it was, I don't know, it was just really weird.
I have a vague memory of one of them. I want to say like killed a character. Then they
Hmm.
retconned it in the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Like one of them had like a zombie had like ripped out his throat, and then
Hmm.
again they were doing the recap, but they changed it to where like he avoided the bite. Like you just retconned your own film. I forget. It might be the very last, from the one before to the last one or something. I don't know.
Right.
But it's like, yeah,
Well, the second to last one that I watched, they discovered this base that's under, like, I guess, like, Antarctica or whatever, like, and it's essentially simulations of different cities and, like, how long it would take the infection to spread in that city or something like that.
right,
Um, and to populate this, they were creating clones. So we already know that Alice
yeah.
is a clone or has clones or whatever. But they started cloning other characters from the series. So characters that have died recently had come back as clones, and it's like, why
Uh,
though?
oh man, maybe I wasn't so
Yeah,
tuned out. That's what it was.
yeah.
like,
I mean,
uh,
it was bananas.
yeah.
And then, like, they had the gall to bring in fucking Leon in, like, that last movie that I watched, and I'm like, man, Leon looks like absolute dog shit in this movie. Like, they tried to recreate his, like, middle part or whatever, and I'm like, ugh, why?
Well, you know what though, and I'll say it. They're still more coherent than the story of Army of the Dead.
Oh God, I haven't watched it. like I don't even know if I want to like give it an honest attempt.
If you can turn your brain off and just watch the action go bang
Yeah,
bang, you'll
yeah,
enjoy yourself. Think a little too much on, like, try to actually follow the story and the
yeah.
characters and notice the little things, you're gonna go insane. I wouldn't recommend it. But mindless little action popcorn flick, sure. Have a few drinks, eat a sandwich, and just turn your brain off. But yeah, like I
Was
said,
that a Zack Snyder film?
that is in fact a Zack Snyder
Uh,
film.
so is this what happens when Zack Snyder gets total free reign over a movie,
No,
or
that's
is he still
that's the
chained?
4 hour Snyder cut. This is only a two and a
Oh,
half hour
okay.
zombie film based on a
Yeah.
script he wrote 10 years ago.
Oh boy.
That's been in developmental hell. Uh, where he not only does he have plot points that are addressed in the movie and never used, he
Hmm.
has plot points not addressed in the movie but clearly used.
What the fuck?
Like when you go in there and you show that zombies hibernate. Okay, interesting. Some different concept, right? Especially when they're out
Yeah.
in the desert sun, they dry up in a sense. They kind of go into hibernation. And they show them like a field of them out there. Like if it rains, they'll wake up. You're like, yep, okay. They're foreshadowing like traditional cinema would. Like maybe the
Hmm.
finale, them trying to escape, right? Nope,
Right.
never addressed again.
Oh, oh, okay.
Just moving on. But you know what is in the movie and not explained in the least?
What?
When one zombie's shot in the head and you see a robot skeleton underneath with a blue glowing eye.
What the fuck?
And Snyder confirmed, yeah, some of the zombies are robots. No, I'm not.
Oh,
No, I'm not going to tell you why because he hasn't told
oh.
us why. They're just in there, and there are
I'm not.
UFOs above
I'm.
Vegas. Zack Snyder,
Okay.
I'm so deep.
Zack Snyder's like, this is gonna be a callback to one of my other films, but I'm not gonna tell you which one.
Yeah, right. And of course, Snyder. And again, I know we shit on Snyder a lot lately, but
Hmm.
like we're both huge fans of his Watchmen movie, and
Hmm.
like I think he used. Some people criticized it. I didn't care. The use of the
Hmm.
song Hallelujah during the Night Owl and Silk Spectre sex scene and whatnot. But like he
Hmm.
uses music a lot to kind of like, in my mind, sometimes hammer in his quote unquote what he thinks is a subtle message into there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's.
so he likes to use the music, and Craig tried to make the argument that there was more to it than this, and I don't believe it for a second. Like just because the title of the song "Zombie" from the Cranberries says "zombie"
uh,
doesn't mean it's
yeah.
appropriate to your fucking film, Zack Snyder.
Right.
This is not about the Irish wars that go on in there. Or the wars, in Ireland and stuff. And he's like, Craig's like, well, it's like a war with the zombies. Like, Craig, no, he saw the title says zombie. That's why he put it in the fucking movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what
That's
I'm saying
man.
is, you should totally check this movie out.
I yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I might get
Again,
bored one day.
again, turn off your brain. It does have good action. Batista is really good.
Yeah.
He carries the film. Some of the characters that, even though they're expendable, are likable. And
Yeah.
like I said, and just like I said, for all Zack Snyder's failings, he makes pretty pictures, and
Hmm.
hey, there's only slow mo in the opening,
Oh, interesting.
so it's 2.5 hours of normal speed Zack Snyder zombie flick instead of being
What
three.
is
Instead of what should have
yeah,
been
what is
three
that
out
like?
3.5 hours of Justice League but it was half hour added on due to slow mo.
Oh man. Yikes.
But yeah, it
Ugh.
is a video game movie without any video game being based on it. It feels like a Call of Duty Zombies. It feels like a Left
Right.
4 Dead, you know. And this is what I throw, and I'm addressing it to be a video game type movie, which is a fair comparison, but also is a segue because moving on to
Mhm.
better things in life,
Right.
some of it anyway. E3 is going on right now as the time of this recording.
Yeah, yeah, it is currently E3 time. So that has been interesting.
Yeah.
I know they announced something that you were really excited about. Nothing that I have necessarily seen so far has really like, I don't know, gripped me.
Right.
Yeah, go. I know you have a big announcement that you would like to
Well,
say.
listen, we got some things, but like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like some of the other people might care about as well before we get into mine. Because
What?
I know,
How would
like,
we do that?
I know, right? Uh, just from like some of the YouTubers I've seen doing their comments on it and stuff,
Hmm.
like the Sea of Thieves game, which has been pretty
Yeah.
popular but not really like a huge hit, is getting a Pirates of the Caribbean expansion for free, and that's kind of cool,
Oh
I
yes.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're into that pirate game, and then you have it, if it's not Johnny Depp, it's a damn good Jack Sparrow voice.
Right. And I've honestly like jumped around a couple of times on wanting to get Sea of Thieves or not. I might actually do it just to check this
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I know,
But I haven't completely decided yet.
yeah, 'cause I know, like you're into the pirates and stuff.
Hmm.
It's supposed to be a fun game. It hasn't been like a huge blockbuster of a game, but it's got a good fan base, I think, already building. Did you see
Right.
the Assassin's Creed Valhalla? It's getting some expansions.
I didn't see that until I just looked it up.
Okay, yeah,
And
God, I thought you'd be
yeah,
excited for that at least.
yeah, so they actually released an expansion not too long ago that takes place in Ireland, with all of that mythology and everything. But now it looks like they are going to France.
Yes, they're going
Yeah,
after
and
the.
we're gonna get the Age of Vikings in France.
Well, yeah, we're gonna be getting. Yeah, I'm guessing the siege on Paris, like what we saw at the
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of the Vikings TV show.
Right,
So
right,
that should be really interesting to see if it goes any better in this version.
right. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting if nothing else. And like, I still haven't finished that game yet. I need to pick
Yeah,
it back up, but I mean, how far I did get, it's fucking phenomenal.
yeah,
Like, and I don't think I've ever really played an Assassin's Creed game as long as I've played this one, and
nice.
really been enjoying it, even though it's not like super, like as stealthy and everything as previous Assassin's Creed games.
Right,
Because I mean, as stealthy as a Viking can be.
right. I just
So,
yeah,
but it's been really good.
yeah, a couple of things that were pointed out, and again, this surprised me when I heard it. I haven't played
Hmm.
Valhalla. Um, the edition apparently based on fan demand. One-handed swords. Swords were not
Uh,
one-handed in that game.
mm.
They only had two-handers in Valhalla.
Um. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, like
I
axe, daggers, and all that
guess
stuff. Yeah, one-handed, but apparently swords were only two-handers in the game. But now
yeah,
you're gonna get your one-handed swords.
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that because I've been like running around wielding like fucking two hammers, or
Right.
like they have a skill that you can get to where you can wield two-handers. So
Oh,
you could just be this
okay.
fight. Yeah, you could even dual wield shields like tower shields and stuff. It's fucking dumb. It's
Nice.
so good though.
And some I don't know if you're going to be interested in or not. I don't know how you. Apparently, they're giving a free like additional thing called like
Hmm.
peasants or something. It's basically going to be like building a settlement and maintaining.
Oh,
Which
interesting.
I
I
don't know if that's
might
your
be
jam or
interested in
not,
that.
but some people like
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
like life simulation kind of addition to it. Which I mean,
right.
it's something I'd watch one of my YouTubers play, or if
Hmm.
a friend of mine was streaming it.
Yeah, yeah.
Would check something out like that, but that's not to me. But again, Assassin's Creed had really stuck with me too hard.
Hmm.
I played and beat the first one, didn't do everything, and part two I just got so overwhelmed I eventually just lost interest because there was so many
Yeah.
side stuff to do. So yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at in Odyssey. Like it was such a vast, like huge area, and like they had a lot of like ship combat in that game and everything.
right.
Which I would have just spent all my time doing that kind of stuff. That was pretty cool. But yeah, oof,
All right.
lots to do in that one.
All right. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that jumped out that really just stood out, and but I don't have any notes in front of me or
I
anything.
So I think one of the bigger things that they announced that people were trying to I don't know, decide on if they still cared about it or not. And I think it was one of the bigger announcements that they made like at the beginning of E3 was an Avatar game based
Oh,
in
yeah,
James Cameron's movie universe. It's called Frontiers of Pandora.
right.
Um, yeah, and it seems interesting. Like I like I said, it's kind of one of those things of like I don't know if I should care about this at this point. It's been like, oh God, I don't even know how many years since the movie came out.
A long damn time.
Um, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it looks like it'll be, if nothing else, it's a gorgeous game.
Well,
Um,
which is all about you can
and
say for the movie itself. It's pretty,
oh yeah, oh yeah,
but
yeah,
not
for
much
sure.
else. I'm pretty sure this is just kind of going along to hype up, the eventual coming out sequels that he's been promising.
Right.
Not honestly, I wasn't impressed with the first film, so I don't really give a shit about it. But
Hmm.
I'm sure somebody's gonna be excited about it. But I think like the biggest thing to come out so far, and we are waiting on the Nintendo Direct tomorrow, which I think is gonna. I'm hoping it is gonna drop some bombs for us as Switch owners and
Hmm.
the Nintendo fan that I am. But what we
Right.
do have though is that Square Enix, they dropped theirs, and the majority of the reveal was, I guess, is kind of following up on or following the eventual love because it was a rough launch on the Avengers game, which
Oh yes.
apparently has gotten a lot better now.
Hmm.
They announced a Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Yeah. So a couple of things on this one though
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. I feel like if I'm gonna play a Avengers game, I would want it multiplayer, right?
that is the shame of it. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a single player like action game, which I guess at on another point, with like the wide range of the characters that they have in it, you could probably switch around to different characters. They didn't show any gameplay of that though. They really only showed you playing as Peter Quill.
well, that's the
Um,
thing.
yeah.
Avengers, you can switch characters. Guardians of the
Hmm.
Galaxy, you're only Quill. You're only Star Lord.
Oh, huh.
But it does. They hinted at like a lot of. They showed a lot of like CG film. The cinematic sequences. But they did show a
Right.
few little bits of the gameplay, and apparently it will have a almost like Telltale's style in there because they showed like Quill make a decision in the game, and it
Hmm.
said like Rocket will remember this.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
you're gonna kind of have a loyalty system maybe, or some
Yeah.
consequences in there. What I do like is I have already seen people talk about how weird they look, and I'm like, these are their comic book versions. This is not the movie.
Right.
like,
Right.
because Gamora looks drastically different, from the comic books to the
Hmm.
TV show, and Drax even, even a little bit different in there. But
Right.
but
Right.
it could be fun. It sounds like they got a good voice cast in there. Out of all of them, like Rocket did damn near. It sounds like I'm going blank on the actor's name, but his voice in the MCU,
Hmm.
which is cool. Trying to think what else they showed. They announced.
Just going back on that
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick, like I mean, even their like comic book selves don't look like their comic book selves. Like they change it up all the time. So
right,
it's like,
right.
you know, just get over it. You know who these characters are. I did kind of like the addition of Rocket having like a beard braid. That was an interesting character choice, but I don't know. I'm down for it. But yeah. I don't necessarily know if this is something that I would even like get or anything, but
Right.
I would definitely watch somebody play it like on a stream or something just to
Yeah,
kind of see how it is.
I think it'll appeal to those who've enjoyed the Avengers game. If y'all got into
Yeah.
that, this one will probably be like probably out the gate a bit as good as what Avengers is now, if not better.
Hmm.
Like I'm sure they've refined their technique for it.
Right. And I mean like as things go, Guardians of the Galaxy, it seems like it's got a pretty great soundtrack as well.
Oh,
So,
of course, of course.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and like I said, I know they dropped several things. Cause I'm trying to remember. Like, there's a lot of different companies now owned by other companies. I don't think do they own IDOS?
Do what?
I can't remember if they own IDOS or not. Because I or it was an earlier thing. I may be jumping off subject. They did show a Far Cry 6 thing
Oh, okay.
too,
Yeah. There was
but I think that might be
just
Microsoft, not Square.
yeah. Well, I mean, no, yeah, it's not Square, but I mean, just to get into like a couple quick ones here.
Yeah.
They had Elder Ring,
Oh
Back for
yeah, yeah.
Blood, Far Cry 6, Overwatch 2, Metal Slug Tactics, Call of Duty Season 4, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Borderlands Tiny Tina
Yeah.
um, was announced, which I feel like you're excited about.
Oh, of course. Anything more Borderlands, I'll be happy for. And it looks like it'll be like this. It's a spin-off basically, which is a play on the
Mhm.
expansion they did, where Tiny Tina is basically making everyone play like Dungeons and Dragons. Which
Right.
no,
That
just
looks so cool.
yeah. I mean, you just gotta love the that like who is it? Like Andy Samberg is going to be a voice. Oh, I think Will Arnett.
Oh,
Like
that's amazing.
and somebody else who I can't think of right now. But yeah, they're bringing in some top talent, and it just
Yeah.
like the end says, roll initiative, bitches. And like, yeah, I'm hyped for that. But we will get to the big thing for me at least, and what could lead to something interesting because I know fans aren't excited, and I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping that Nintendo will make it all better tomorrow. Although
Hmm.
I feel like I doubt it. I feel like unless they were saving it. Square Enix is re-releasing Final Fantasy 1 through 6, and they're calling
Yeah.
it Pixel Perfect because there have been ports of these older games, but they kind of smooth over the pixels and kind of make, to me, it looks like every Flash kind of game and every kind of like mobile
Uh,
weird kind of like weird graphic thing.
yeah.
But they are releasing them 1 through 6, but only for mobile and Steam, is all they're saying.
Mm,
I'm
yeah. Interesting.
hoping we're going to get a shock from Nintendo and they'll be like, or buy them all on a cartridge,
Hmm.
for the Switch.
You gotta get your physical copy for the collection.
I gotta get it, even if it's ordering it from Japan, which I still need to order. A
Hmm.
few Switch digital only here in America actually got physical releases in Japan. Seven and
Yeah.
eight actually come together on a cartridge
Yeah.
in Japan, but not here. But here's what I'm excited about because it's something I want to
Hmm.
try. I don't know if anyone wants this to happen, but I feel like I want to try it because I'm such a fan of like Pro Jared's run on it. If I can get 1 through 6 on Steam, and with those graphics being that much simpler, I imagine even my basic ass OBS recording device, I think
Hmm.
I'm gonna make VOD VODs, whatever you want to call them, of me
Yeah.
playing through with my commentary.
Nice. Yeah. Do that.
I kind of want to do that. I just want to, as long as they're not, I say it like as long as they're not $40 a piece, but that still might happen if I buy them one at a time. But because one
Yeah.
through six, like I love Final Fantasy, but like, and I'm an old man. My Final Fantasies were the best Final. Now they're all good. I'm playing through 10 right now on my
Yeah.
Switch, but 1 through 6 is my golden years. That was my
Yeah.
formative making me a gamer. Granted, it was really part 4 and 6 only at the time, but haven't gone back and played the old ones again. I'm super excited about it. I would like for streaming, I'll buy them on Steam if that'll make me. And I know out there somebody's going, you can just download them on emulator. Fuck you, support the industry. Uh,
Exactly.
I want to, and I know, and I'm not the biggest fan of mobile, but I also don't hate mobile. So
Hmm.
someone wants to buy Part 6 that doesn't look like ass because Part 6 looks like shit on the mobile one right now. You can have it in its pixelated glory, and they are going to be HD, so there might be extra features. Who knows what they, because like
Yeah.
the other releases they've done on Game Boy Advance added new dungeons, added a better translation. So I'll be real curious to see what they're going to drop. You know, I would love for them to be $10 a piece and then sell them as a bundle for $60. I would pay that for all six of them
Yeah.
in one shot. I doubt it though.
Yeah.
They'll probably be $20 to $30, but
No. I,
I'll
I I feel like they probably will, because like I feel like the people that are gonna buy any single one of those is
yeah.
gonna buy all of them.
Yeah, you would think a bundle deal, and they haven't announced any of it.
Yeah.
It's just purely fans being mad at being given something. You ain't gotta buy it. You ain't gotta buy it. But you know what? I hope for a Switch port because Switch actually does get a lot of mobile games.
Yeah.
And like I've been saying this whole time, we've literally got 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, and 12 on the Switch. Why we don't have 1 through 6, I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe they were waiting for this to get finished. I hope so. I'm hoping we'll find out tomorrow. During Nintendo's, turn on E3. But here's the thing too. Though. But so yeah, I'm excited, and yeah, I'm gonna say it now. If I can get these, if I get them on Steam and I can record. Let me know if y'all are interested, because I'm probably going to do it anyway. But I'd like to know at least I'd have an audience who might want to watch, not like a 5-hour video at a time, but, I'll chop them up. But
Not a 5-hour video at a time, Sean.
It would probably be a lot easier to edit it down, but, even I have trouble going back because, I'm a big fan of Pro Jared on YouTube, and he does like Final Fantasy playthroughs. He's the one that got me motivated to jump back on 10 because I was watching his playthrough of it. And yeah, I like something I might want to try. Yet another project I don't need to start, I'm sure, but that is, I'm excited about the opportunity. Anytime these games can get re-released in like better or at least closer to the original versions, because again, the mobile ports of like I want to say they did it to 4 and 6 at least, where they updated the graphics. I don't know what you want to call them. Like they just look like they took the pixels and just smudged them into no longer looking blocky, but they still just look awkward and bad. I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. And I never wanted to get that version, even though I have Part 6 in multiple iterations. But yeah, if I can get on my computer and can do that, that's definitely gonna be a plan I want to put into motion for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can't remember if we had talked about this or if you know much about it, because I haven't super looked into it. But I did hear reports about it. It may have just been a fever dream of something that my mind just thought up. But I'm pretty sure I read something not too long ago about a game that's in development that is a like what are those games? Bloodborne or yeah, like Final Fantasy game that takes place in the world of the first Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, it's what's it called, like Final Fantasy Origin something, like or Origin Soldier. Is that the one? Well, they announced like one. No, the one I'm thinking of is a mobile game.
Yeah,
it's the Final Fantasy that plays like Demon Souls.
Yeah,
like I said, Bloodborne and whatnot. Which, again, I collect every damn Final Fantasy game I can get a hold of that's a physical, physical copy. I hate Demon Souls. I hate Dark Souls, Demon Souls. I don't like not a damn one of them. And I'm trying to find the name of that damn game right now, but my computer doesn't like opening too many tabs, and we start to cut out on our recordings. But yeah, there's that one that's looking like that, and if that's your jam and you like Final Fantasy, get it. I mean, I'll end up buying it eventually to add to put it on the shelf, but I doubt it'll ever actually get played. That because I also have no intention right now of buying a new gen console. There's also they announced a mobile game, which is going to be more just straight hack and slash, which I want to say is like Final Fantasy Origin, Soldier Origin, or something like that, which sounds like maybe it's going to show like the early days of Seven's Soldier program, maybe.
Yeah.
They didn't show anything on like the next part of the 7 remake, but I'm pretty sure they said right when they said goodbye, they showed a title card that said Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. It's like, hey, the thing is coming is still coming, because here's the thing, like any new video game news is always interesting to us because we're gamers, we like to play. E3 is not what it used to be,
right?
And I think it's there's good reason for that, because these companies, I mean, it almost feels like at this point the companies are making these presentations now, especially that it went all digital, during the pandemic and everything, and I guess they didn't want to open up for this year either. But it's even then though, like I think 1 year Nintendo didn't even set up at E3.
Oh wow.
They get more views and more attention doing their what do they call, like playhouses? Like they have a little term for whenever they'll drop like a 40 minute, sometimes even only a 15 or 20 minute video just on their YouTube channel, on their social medias, going, "Hey, here's some game trailers. This is what's coming." They don't need E3. They don't need that, and none of the companies really do. Like I think Xbox has like the state of play address they do, or PlayStation does that one. Like yeah, like these, like this video game convention where because E3 used to be, that's when you would hear about all the new stuff, and Nintendo drops these kind of news like every couple of months. Like it'll be like an indie game showcase. Like Monster Hunter, Capcom does its own thing for Monster Hunter, So
Right.
it's like,
Right.
so yeah, it's kind of like, don't get it wrong. There's always something going to come out, during E3, but it feels like it's felt less and less over the years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and honestly, we might just be doing another episode, like recording another episode later this week, just to cover any other news that we get. Because I mean, even today, that the day that we're recording, we're
Right.
honestly going to release this episode today too. Is
Yeah.
Monday the 14th, and this afternoon, Capcom is doing their presentation, and
Oh,
they're supposed
right,
to have like Resident Evil news, Ace Attorney Chronicles news, Monster Hunter news. So there could be some pretty cool shit that's announced later this afternoon.
Oh, for sure,
And
and I
then
hope so.
tomorrow, yeah, and tomorrow is the Nintendo Direct, so
Right.
we may get even more news on Nintendo. I'm kind of hoping for some more Legend of Zelda remake news, but I think they have another event that Nintendo is specifically just planning themselves later this year that they're probably gonna announce more.
I would hope they would at least drop little something on the Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah,
At least
yeah,
like,
that's true.
even if they're only going to use E3 to be like, hey, on July 14th, whatever, just throwing out a random date, tune into our direct to see the actual game. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
like so. But again, it just kind of, which they could do. They could very well be like, well, we got something for you, but you got to watch it on our thing, not their thing.
Right. And I don't know if you checked out whenever they did their announcements earlier this year and announced holy crap, I'm forgetting the name of the Zelda game we are getting a remake of this year.
That Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
That's it. But it was kind of funny because people were waiting on Breath of the Wild 2 news, and like they
Yeah.
announced all this other stuff, and they were like, and here's some Breath of the Wild 2 news, and then like it showed this guy, and he was like, I know you're really excited and you really want some, we just don't have anything right now, so
So
bear with us.
So instead, we have what would arguably, from my understanding of the fan base, don't get it wrong, Zelda died for me when it went 3D.
Wow.
I've the newest game that I played. Although I'm waiting on it to get cheaper. I do want to play
Yeah.
the Link's Awakening remake,
Oh, yeah.
and I like the Link Between Worlds for the 3DS. But like,
Yeah.
if Zelda's not top down style, I just haven't gotten into them. I don't care for Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. I don't care for,
Man.
but I try to keep my finger on the pulse of gaming and stuff. And like the thing is, everyone's waiting on Breath of the Wild 2. They hyped it, they mentioned it. Instead, here's a remake of what I'm pretty sure is the least popular Zelda game to come out. Like Skyward Sword was not well liked.
Right. And I mean, like, I even tried it, but you had to use the Wiimote for it.
Yeah.
It was the same with what was Twilight Princess, which I hope that they remake that one too and do the just basic ass controls for it.
Dude, just
and
get
I
the
don't have to
GameCube
use
version.
motion stuff.
Just get it on GameCube.
That's true. Yeah, I'll just go fucking find a GameCube.
I got one in
Go
my house,
find that
bro.
game on GameCube. Then I'll come take yours.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think those. But again, it was the most hated game until it came out, though, and the franchise was Wind Waker.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
And I was actually talking to some people about that the other day with the art style and everything. People were
people were
not into it.
so mad. But then they
Yeah.
played it, and apparently, if you like the 3D Zeldas, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like seriously, like the mechanics of it and everything were really cool, really well done.
Yeah, but everyone saw the art style and hated it. Now, granted, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword was unliked just because like the actual game apparently like I saw a review talking about it not too long ago because when the remake got announced they were kind of addressing the issues apparently very
Mm.
repetitive and that's saying something for Zelda, which I love Zelda's formula. Don't get it wrong for the the old games which have carried into the 3D, but apparently like a lot of the monsters were damn near the exact same, like all the bosses and
Yeah.
shit.
No.
Apparently it just was not well received on a mechanical level, not just because like the graphics were fine. I remember it being a beautiful game for a Wii U game.
Yeah.
For the end of Wii, beginning of Wii U, I think is when it came out. Because Zelda used to drop right when an old console was dying and a new one was dropping for at least a couple of them because they came out GameCube and Wii, and I want to say Wii and Wii U for Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think an update on it would make the game better because, like you said, no motion controls. You'd probably enjoy it a lot better. But
Oh, seriously.
I still wonder if it's too lit, there's even a point when not Skyward, damn it, I keep getting these titles wrong. When Breath of the Wild changed the game so much, and for a lot of people, the better,
Yeah.
are they going to want to go back to these remakes, or to go back to the older style?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Any of you Zelda people out there listening, let us know if you give a shit about anything Zelda other than the next Breath of the Wild. Like, do you even care about Skyward Sword remake, or if they did a Twilight Princess remake? Which, wait, didn't they?
What?
I was trying to think. Did they? I thought they actually already did a Twilight Princess remake on the Switch. I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so.
No. All right
I
then.
don't think we've gotten any remakes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't know what I'm saying. But I think that's kind of like really it for the E3 so far. Like you said,
Yeah.
we're probably going to sit down a little later this week and drop another episode at least. And I don't know if we're going to, well, we'll drop it early, but at least we're going to record. So at least when we're, as the stuff comes out, we're going to want to talk about it. So might as well hit that good old record button.
Yeah. Well, so the only other thing that I had was Bethesda had an announcement for a new game, and
Okay.
so far we only know of like they've done Elder Scrolls and then they've done the Fallout series, right?
Right.
So for their newest game, and this highly appeals to me, they're going to space, and they're doing a game
Oh.
called Starfield. November 11th, 2022 is when this is slated to release. So I am all for that and ready to see where that's gonna go.
Hmm. Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting because I remember a year ago, or maybe more now, they announced Elder Scrolls 7. Ain't heard shit since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which the only one I really got into was Skyrim, and I played the shit out of that game. So I'd be
Hmm.
very interested in the next one if and when it drops. But they've been releasing Skyrim for like 12 years now, so
Yeah. I like so it's interesting because it was one of those games that I like kind of got into earlier than most other games that have been out for this long.
yeah.
Morrowind was actually my first Elder
Ah,
Scrolls game. Yeah,
nice.
it was I think it was their first 3D one that they did. And
Yeah.
good lord, it was like unlike anything I'd ever played before. It was just a huge fantasy world where like you're just dropped in and you can do basically like go wherever you want or do whatever you want. I mean, at your own discretion, because if you go to the wrong like places, you're gonna get absolutely wrecked
Right.
by everything around you. And like the base game will actually give you gear if you follow the story and everything.
Huh. Okay.
Uh, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen like people talking about it. I came in during Oblivion and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But
Oh
then
yeah.
Skyrim, I don't know. I don't know. They went obviously years in between them, so they had time to develop it further. But
Hmm.
Skyrim clicked with me, but Oblivion did not. And
Yeah, my biggest thing on Oblivion, and it really has to do with your setting and where you're at. So
Yeah.
like Morrowind took place in a lot of the Elvish territories.
Oh, okay.
So you had some human settlements there, but then all the Elvish settlements, like the ones out in the desert or the ones in the jungle or whatever, or the ones that are on like water, were all so vastly different and like just so cool how they were made and like you could see how these different like types of elves had like thrived in their specific environment or whatever, and then they bring you to Oblivion, which is all human settlements. So it's literally, oh, I'm coming up on like the 10th stone castle area that I've seen in this game since I started it.
Right.
So it was kind of cool to get that new like the new mechanics sort of in there, and like they did some better stuff with like fighting and magic and stuff in my opinion. But like just like the scenery wasn't that great, which I think is why they did the expansion after that, where you go into like the realm of madness or whatever. I
Right.
can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head, but and you get to see all like the different gods and stuff in there. That was pretty wild, pretty cool. But yeah, Skyrim was just so dope
Yeah.
with the Nords and all of their mythology and stuff like that. And yeah, before they announced Skyrim Online or whatever, I was really getting pretty hyped for what we would get next in the genre, because they have all these areas mapped out of like where each race comes from and everything, so people would just kind of speculate where the next game would be or whatever,
Right.
and yeah, we just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, like I said, they released a pretty picture and a title, and I want to say they may have given it the subtitle like how it's, Elder Scrolls 5 or whatever, Skyrim.
Hmm.
I can't. It's been so long. I don't even fucking remember. So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
again, when it does drop, I'm probably gonna look into it at least because I did have a lot of fun with Skyrim, and
Hmm.
yeah. The only other thing too is I don't know when it's gonna go live, but Blizzard, they announced the release date for the Diablo 2 remake. It'll be September 23rd,
Hmm.
and if you pre-order it, it gives you access to the beta.
No.
So
Fancy.
I pre-ordered it today.
Nice.
So
Hell yeah.
I got it for PC first. It will be available like on Switch and PlayStation with not cross play, I don't think anyway, but definitely cross login. Now, granted, you have to buy
Hmm.
the game twice if you wanted to play it on different consoles, but you can log into your same account and have your same characters.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you're going on a trip, you still want to get some Diablo time in, buy it, granted you have to pay 40 more bucks and buy it on Switch, but you can't,
Hmm.
the option's there. And I think that's pretty cool at
Yeah.
least. Now, crossplay would be excellent because I saw it said 8 players, which
Hmm.
I've only ever done I think, what, 2 or 4, I think, of the normal in the old Diablo games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm this game I'm excited because of course it'll have the quality of life updates from the old one. I've never played Diablo 2.
Yeah. Same for me. So like where a lot of people were kind of like complaining, like, "Oh, really? You're doing this?" I'm actually kind of stoked for it because it'll be my
Yeah,
first time through it.
yeah, exactly. And like
Mm-hmm.
I have Diablo 1 on PlayStation 1, and
Mm-hmm.
that game is not good to play with on a controller. um,
I
yeah,
imagine not.
but I kept the disc for the hell of it because it was given to me, and I just always kept it in there. But yeah, so I came in with Diablo 3, and I you know every like, at least once a year for a few months or a couple months out the year, I get reinvested into Diablo 3. I've bought in that game probably 4 times now,
Right. Right.
and always max out every single class and beaten the game hundreds of times. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I never played part 2. I've always heard it like of course, revolutionary for the time, but it's still well regarded as far as like the class abilities and the story and everything. And it's
Yeah.
just keeping the interest going along for the inevitable part 4, which they have announced, but I don't think we have a release date yet.
Right. Right. I mean, you know, it's gonna happen for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've confirmed it. They dropped a trailer. We just don't know when. I don't know if Blizzard's scheduled to do anything here for E3.
Hmm.
Maybe we'll get a little something. They're owned by Activision now, so I don't know. Maybe we'll have something later this week. I haven't heard anything though, but yeah. Like I said, a lot of video game news going this week, and yeah, the next episode y'all will be hearing will probably be more of it because Capcom today, Nintendo tomorrow. I feel like those are going to be some. I want to believe they're going to be some big announcements because, like, generally most people aren't like too thrilled with what's been getting announced because there hasn't been any huge bombshells. I still want to believe for Capcom Nintendo, but even if it's not, there's going to be something worth talking about. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, like I said, out of all this, oh yeah, it was the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 is probably the big announcement for me. That got me, that made me very happy. Yeah, and I would prefer a console release of them and a physical one so I
Mm.
could buy it physically. But I'm hyped, and it really finally kind of put me because I've been thinking about the streaming thing before, and I went and checked like the Steam library what they had. It was just the mobile ugly graphics that I just can't stand on there. Like, cause I thought about going, hey, maybe not the whole series, but like, maybe part 6. See if anyone would be interested to hear my commentary and watch a playthrough of it. But I don't know. Stay tuned for that. I'll let y'all know
Yeah.
if that'll be going down.
Yeah, I'd be up for it because I mean I don't know if it's necessarily something that I would buy, but again I would probably watch somebody play
Yeah, I have one viewer.
it.
Well, we got a few minutes. Is there anything else that jumped out at you?
I mean not necessarily. Like you know, all of my news from E3 for the most part has just been like what Twitter or like any other social media would be a buzz about.
Right.
Um, so that's basically kind of where I've sort of been with it. Like, if it doesn't if it doesn't pop up on social media, then half the time, unless I like invest time to look into it, then I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, mine, like, I go to Kotaku every now and again for my video game news, but
Hmm.
they don't seem to be. I mean, everyone's got their way of reporting news, and theirs is usually just okay. But like I said,
Yeah.
I got some YouTubers whose opinions I do tend to agree with, so I always look forward to theirs, and they've given their thoughts, and it's been pretty much the same how I would feel like if I saw it live.
Hmm.
What they're not sure about, although they're less excited about the remakes as I am, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's still yeah.
One thing that I did want to kind of throw out there, just
Okay.
because I've been digging it so much, and we don't have to do a whole thing for it because I feel like we can do honestly a spring anime wrap up at some
Oh
point,
yeah, yeah.
when that stuff starts ending. But man, the spring season really kind of hit us with some surprises because I remember early on we looked at the list and there wasn't really a whole lot we were interested in,
Yeah.
and then we've kind of like checked out some series that we may have not have, originally.
Right.
But oh man, I just watched the newest episode of Snow White Notes. I'm pretty sure it's the second to last episode based off of like
Think
where
so.
it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just been such a phenomenal series, and it's so out of the realm of anything that I would normally watch,
Right.
or keep up with in that aspect. But it's just a show about I mean, essentially in its essence it's about shamisen,
Yeah.
the string musical instrument that came from Japan, and one character's journey to find his own music.
Yeah.
Um, and it has been really great, really amazing. And they're in competitions right now in it, so you're getting to see a lot of like different styles and hear a lot of different music, and it has just been a really well done and beautifully animated show.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's just a beautiful show in general,
Hmm.
especially like I
Hmm.
said, you got likable characters, you got understandable motivation. And again, like you said, we wanted to do a spring wrap up. We can definitely
Hmm.
save it for that. Totally agree. So like I said, another like I don't know if I can't remember if we've discussed it here on the show or not, but yeah, like other ones that I didn't start with when it started. but got recommended and checked them out. Was like Burning Comedy. Has been a really good sports anime based on a real sport that I didn't know existed.
Oh, well then.
That one's been a lot of fun. To Your Eternity.
Oh yes, To Your Eternity.
Which,
so good.
like, I'm gonna finish the season, and I'll. Here's my thing. I like mystery shows, but I rarely ever watch twice. And something I want to bring up because I feel like maybe not a lot of people realize this or not. For you out there who like reading manga as well as watching anime, and you have a Crunchyroll account, are y'all aware there's a manga app that works for your account? Because I keep forgetting it exists. And then I found out they have 120 chapters of To Your Eternity.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going to probably finish the anime, but I'm going to start reading this motherfucker, too, because To Your Eternity has been another really good show that, like, I'm glad. I think our buddy Mike Delvecchio told us about it or recommended it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad because it's, good Lord, what was that anime we were into that I think only got that one season? It was about that, the lead characters on, like, the moped going through different, or the motorcycle that talks.
Kino's Journey.
Kino's Journey.
Yeah.
To me, it has that sense of exploration of a world, and like with the different dichotomies that you're going to run into with a different premise. But I don't know. It like I bet no one else but you and me have watched it in my circle. Although I'm sure Mike has. I don't think we ever brought it up to Mike. I'm sure he watched it too.
Yeah.
But like it kind of gives me that journey feel. You know what I mean? Of just like
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you're watching To Your Eternity or not, but
Oh yeah. No, I'm up to date on it.
Yeah, and it's been really good too. And that's another one that was not on the radar. The other one that was and is still staying really damn good is Tokyo Revengers. Oh my god, these last episodes.
Yep. Yeah. It has been phenomenal. Like, I kind of had I was on the fence at the beginning because the main character was kind of annoying me. I'm like, come on, do something. And it's just kind of like really turned into this big, and we like to compare it a lot to Erased.
Yeah.
Right, because the premise is sort of similar, but there's like another factor in it that makes it even more interesting, and not to mention that like the main character is not as, I guess, resolute in his decisions and stuff.
Right.
Like he seems very much just like a normal dude, that like it's hard for him to like stand his ground occasionally, and he's not necessarily strong, so like he's got to figure out his own way of like preventing a certain thing from happening, and it's very interesting like what stands between him and his goal of doing this, and like what could change like the timeline or something like that.
Yeah, and the time travel is of course was a big hook, but like it's also, and clearly we're fans of the genre if you know the title of our fucking podcast. But it is a delinquent story, and it has those key elements of, yes, these kids are bad, they're gangs, they're fighting, but like there's that appeal about them having like the likable personalities, the loyalty to like their own family in the gang. You know what I mean? They're not just they'll kick the shit out of you, but they're lovable scumbags. That kind of thing, which has always appealed to like you and me. We've been fans of that genre for quite a while, and so that combined with, although apparently Erased isn't very well regarded, but you know what? Fuck the fan base. It tore you and me apart every damn episode when we watched it. And this one, while maybe not hitting that hard, but this has the cliffhangers, has the interesting concept. Again, we should be saving this for our wrap up, which, we'll. I think that could definitely be something we should start doing, a kind of the beginning of the season, what we're interested in, and then see how we feel by the end.
Yeah.
See if we dropped anything. Sure. Did we pick anything? That might be a new segment for all three of y'all out there listening. We love you.
And then like one last thing, I'm pretty sure it started in the winter season, but it's still going strong. And it's actually, I think, the only isekai I'm watching right now. And that's So I'm a Spider, So What? And it's been really good. uh, like just the evolution of this character and like the world that they live in and like the kind of mysteries between her and then this other group of people that's going on and trying to figure out like when it's happening and everything has been really cool too.
Yeah, the story has been great. I gotta
Mhm.
be honest. If I do have a complaint with with what's been happening more and more, uh,
Mhm.
you know, almost every anime out there uses some kind of like CG these days, a cell shaded look.
Mhm.
Spider has suddenly started really overusing it to me, and it's
Yeah.
bringing me down a little bit. But it's still, I'm invested in the
Right.
story. I'm invested in the mystery of all the reincarnated kids and whatnot. But like,
Mhm.
it's just like there were some parts of this last episode where I'm like, did that really have to be the cell shaded look?
Right.
She
Yeah.
wasn't even moving very much. Why? Why?
Mm.
But budgets. Who knows? There could be reasons out there. It's just my own preference. I don't hate it. Didn't ruin the show, but that if I gotta
Mhm.
admit, the last few episodes have been I've been seeing it more and more, when it just didn't always feel necessary. But
Yeah.
again, there could be reasons. There could be reasons.
Mhm.
Japan's on its third lockdown in major cities right now due to COVID. That might be a factor. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, not trying to hate on it too much. It's just beyond that,
Yeah.
still loving that show too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been great. There's been some good anime, and I'm very proud of myself for like I've been keeping up with it. So
Good man, good man.
yeah.
It's tough for me too. I spent last night, and there was a couple shows I had 2 episodes to catch up on. I did that last
Hmm.
night before I went to bed. Got caught up on everything.
Yeah, yeah. You've been watching a lot of drama series or anything too, or just mostly anime?
Like TV shows, like right
Yeah.
now we watch. I mean, we got Loki, of course, just started. Uh,
Yeah. I figure we'll get into that on another episode.
yeah, and no, Hell's Kitchen started again. You consider that drama? That,
Oh shit.
we gotta watch. We gotta have our live action cooking drama that me and the wife love. So,
Yeah.
no, not really.
Yeah.
That's since the Nevers ended. I don't think we're really on anything.
I
That's
mean, it's
regular, yeah.
weird though, but did it end?
Oh well, they stopped
Yeah.
putting out episodes
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
yeah.
I was so upset.
Yeah, I think honestly, I want to say I think Craig or somebody was telling me about it.
Hmm.
They believe what's happened is after the accusations made upon Joss Whedon, the creator.
Hmm.
They basically called that part one of season one, and they've
Yeah.
since kind
Okay.
of like shuffled him away, and now they're gonna
Hmm.
finish it under a new creative team, for
Hmm.
better or worse. We'll see. I hope they can continue for
Yeah.
if what he's accused of is true, and there's been no conviction. So I'm not here to like
Yeah.
come down on him yet. I've heard nothing, like nothing set in stone, just accusations. If it's
Hmm.
true, fuck that dude, who sadly makes very entertaining shows. But you
Yeah.
know, and I hope they can continue without him. Or if nothing comes of these accusations and he's not proven to be fine, I hope he comes back and continues, because it's been it was an amazing whatever we got of the season.
Yeah. Right. It was a lot of fun. And I mean, it was funny because like the night we were expecting like a season finale from that, we got the season finale of Mayor of Easttown, which was pretty
Right.
good. But it was also like Vanetta's watching that, right? Did she finish it
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, and I came home
Yeah.
right about halfway through that finale, so I caught and I had caught like random episodes, but I was usually doing my
Yeah. Yeah.
playing my games or doing something while she was,
Right.
'cause she started it without me. I had no idea what was going on. Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty crazy though from what I saw.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And then like, the whole thing is centered around like a couple of murders that happened.
Yeah.
And then like so by the last episode you're like, okay, well, we just got to bring them in now. And then the last episode they fucking switched it around on you like 5 times and it's like, who the fuck murdered this girl? Like
Right.
what is going on right now? But no, it was a really good show. And honestly, I don't know if they've got a second season planned. But the first season was a really good like one
Yeah.
off if you want to check that out. We actually so kind of bounce back and forth between like, murder drama series and stuff like that. One of the series that we were going through was Fargo.
Right.
Um, I think we had talked about it briefly, but we finally finished the fourth season. That was the newest season that came out. Um, and it was pretty good. It took place in the 50s. A lot of like mob presence and everything, and like mob wars and stuff. Going at it with each other. And one of the leaders of one of these mobs was Chris Rock. So
Right.
it was pretty cool seeing him in a role, and like nowadays, because like other than that and Spiral, which I think I've mentioned previously,
Yeah.
I don't remember the last thing I even saw him in.
Yeah, he hadn't been popping up too much. He may have been in that like pop up in like a comedy here and there, but no like major roles or anything. I think that's he must have been kind of move his focus to TV.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he did damn good as the mob boss and like being like scary and stuff.
right.
In this series, so I would definitely recommend Fargo. It's fun. It's different every season, and occasionally you'll have things that connect from one season to another. But for the most part, they take place in like um, different time frames and stuff
Right.
like that. So it's really cool,
Well,
really enjoyable.
nice. Faux show. Well, that is going to do it for today. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your dog, make everyone listen to us. We appreciate every one of you. And yeah, we'll catch y'all next time.
Peace.